Network has a new and exclusive line of clothing. First up, the Jiu-Jitsu Rash Guard. This isn't just gear, it's a statement. A commitment to eco-friendly battles on the mats and waves. And for those who live by the bold champion spirit, we have something special. A line for men and women designed not just for the fight, but for life. Wear our bold champion spirit of Jiu-Jitsu Rash Guard confidently. Its striking design with golden figures in combat honors the enduring spirit of competition in martial arts. Pair it with our unisex mesh shorts, the perfect combo of style, comfort, and eco-conscious design for the modern warrior. And don't forget, our Jiu-Jitsu Bold Champion Spirit leggings. This attire is expertly engineered to channel the champion spirit in every move you make. Together, it's not just about looking good. It's about feeling the part and living the Jiu-Jitsu way, both on and off the mats.
Let's go!
The hell, man?
Careful, AJ. We're live, I think.
Lucky he wasn't pulling down his pants.
The Ringside Report Network has a new and exclusive line of clothing. First up, the Jiu-Jitsu Rash Guard. This isn't just gear, it's a statement. A commitment to eco-friendly battles on the mats and waves. And for those who live by the bold champion spirit, we have something special. A line for men and women designed not just for the fight, but for life. Wear our bold champion spirit of Jiu-Jitsu Rash Guard confidently. Its striking design with golden figures in combat honors the enduring spirit of competition in martial arts. Pair it with our unisex mesh shorts, the perfect combo of style, comfort, and eco-conscious design for the modern warrior. And don't forget, our Jiu-Jitsu Bold Champion Spirit leggings. This attire is expertly engineered to channel the champion spirit in every move you make. Together, it's not just about looking good. It's about feeling the part and living the Jiu-Jitsu way, both on and off the mats. Meticulously crafted for the yoga studio, the gym, and beyond, blending style, comfort, and the heart of a champion. Wear your passion, embody sustainability, and elevate your practice. Join the league of athletes who wear their values as proudly as their belts. It's more than clothing, it's a way of life. Ringside Report Network, where champions dress for success, sustainability, and the spirit of the sport.
Attention to all professional wrestling fans and followers of the legendary Johnny Genesis North. We are releasing a must-have collection of Johnny North merchandise in our store at merch.ringsidereport.net, starting with our limited edition Johnny Genesis North 3/4 sleeve t-shirt. With a unique design capturing Johnny in action, this tee exudes raw energy and intensity through its versatile 3/4 sleeves for any weather. Stand with our legendary co-host, Johnny North. Make a bold statement in the wrestling community by getting yours today, exclusively at merch.ringsidereport.net.
Get ready to amp up your betting game with Ringside Report Network's latest knockout offer. We've teamed up with our pals at Bet99.com to bring you something that will shake up the betting world. Dave's Picks with boosted odds.
Yes, indeed. It's Ringside Report MMA. Tonight on the show, we're previewing UFC 301 and some other fun stuff.
Let's go!
Yes. We're good now, I think. What happened? Something happened. The show started. I wasn't here.
Hello.
We're here. We're here now. What's up, everybody? We are here.
What's up, hombre?
Welcome. It's the Ringside Report Network. We're back. I feel like we haven't been on for a long time. Maybe because I had a rare weekend off last weekend. It feels like it's been a while since we've done a show. Did I have a weekend off? I think so, right?
Yeah.
We were on last week, so.
Yeah. Yeah, but for me, I do a lot of shows on the Ringside Report Network, Fred. It's not just Ringside Report MMA. It's Wrestling Uncensored on Friday nights, and usually it's either a WWE or AEW thing over the weekend or a UFC thing. And last weekend there was nothing, so it kind of feels like, I haven't done this in a while. I missed it. I miss you guys. I miss the Ringside Report universe and everybody watching, all the members, all our friends. My boy Johnny North is in the chat.
Big
Mika is in the chat. And all the members over at join.ringsidereport.net and membership.ringsidereport.net. We do this for you. Thank you for supporting the channel. UFC 301 coming up this weekend. It is maybe the worst pay-per-view on paper that the UFC's put together, certainly in 2024, maybe in several years. If you look at the card on paper, it's not very good. And guys, I can't remember, I talk about all the weekend stuff we do, right? I can't remember the last time I said, yeah, let's skip this pay-per-view. Let's not do a watch-along. We've watched some great pay-per-views. We've watched some mediocre pay-per-views. But for a UFC numbered event, a UFC pay-per-view, I can't remember the last time where we were all available, ready to do it, and we said, yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. We're not doing anything this weekend. I'm doing a Backlash post-show. Backlash is worth covering. We're going to cover Backlash this weekend. I'm going to watch that in the afternoon. I'm going to do a Backlash post-show Saturday afternoon around 4 p.m.
Saturday?
Yeah, in Lyon, France.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes.
Look, man, you're right. The 301 is not a good card. It's one of the worst pay-per-views the UFC has ever produced. With that said, all week I've been watching the Embedded, the Countdown, so I'm kind of a little bit hyped. I'll probably watch it, but I'll watch it from the comfort of my sofa and, not have to worry about entertaining our great fans. I'll just be chilling in front of the sofa, and if I fall asleep, I fall asleep. But it's going to be decent, man. This Steve Erceg guy intrigues me because I'm like, he hasn't beaten anybody that's really worth anything. He's faced a lot of no names and he's getting a title shot, but man, if they're giving a title shot, maybe he has a chance, or is he just a sacrificial lamb for the hometown guy? Maybe that's the case also, but he's a little taller than Pantoja. He brings a little intrigue to the fight. So look, I'll watch it. It's a championship fight. I think I'm more intrigued by some of the other guys, whether it's Pereira, Paul Craig versus Caio, whatever there. I don't want to butcher his name. But yeah, exactly. So those are the fights that probably intrigue me the most. And the main event, it's still a title fight, man. It's a decent fight. But yeah, it could be much better.
But you know what, Freddie, you're kind of dissing like the Steve Erceg, because this guy here, man, he's looking like he's going to be a future competitor. And in fact, I mean, he's got everything going for him. Like every time I see this guy, he reminds me of Steve Carell on steroids. Steve Erceg, Steve Carell. But when this guy fights, man, he's 12-1, man. Fighter. It doesn't. But when it comes to like his capability and whatnot, it's probably the best matchup he could ever have is with Pantoja. You said it. He's a bigger guy. He's got amazing cardio. There's a lot of value in this guy, man, and he's being underlooked. This guy from Australia is something big, and I think the UFC needs somebody to step in because Pantoja has been there for a long time. I think the UFC is banking on this guy to beat him in Brazil, and I really think the opposite side, man. I think, if I have to look at this whole card, I think the card is pretty decent. I don't look at it as a terrible card like Dave's saying. I'm looking at it as a pretty good card. I mean, there's some good names on this card. And I think like Steve Erceg, this guy here, young, he hasn't lost except for one fight, and he's coming in with a lot of talent. And the guy has less wear and tear than Pantoja. I think this is going to be one of those nights where we're going to see a young champion coming in Brazil. And I think this guy's the underdog, and I think this underdog is going to take it. The stars are aligning for this kid, man. Yeah, but you know what? He's moved up quick, fast, but there's a reason for that. Even though, look, he beat Matt Schnell in his last fight. He KO'd him. This guy has something, man. And I think if you're going to look at a good match for him that he can possibly beat, it's that Pantoja. Even though Pantoja is like, what? He hasn't been finished in 32 fights, which is impressive. But man, there's a lot of wear and tear on this guy at 34 years old. It's been a long-standing 27-5, long run. I think there's a reason why this Steve kid is coming in. 28 years old, dude. There's a reason.
I think he's going to be outclassed by Pantoja. I think he's going to be at a level that he's not used to, and he's not going to be able to catch up. I think the speed of Pantoja, the technique of Pantoja is going to be too much for Steve Urkel. And I think Steve Urkel will not transform into Stefan Urkel in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He's just going to be his old, normal, nerdy self, losing to Alexander Pantoja in the main event by flyweight, and Laura Winslow will never, ever give him that kiss. So that's the future for Steve Urkel as I see it. And, you know, I feel like Steve Urkel, whatever his name is, it really doesn't matter because this is his big shot. This is his fight. He's coming from out of nowhere, and I think the UFC just needed a flyweight contender. He was available, and he was the fight that they wanted to put together for Pantoja. They're trying to have a showcase fight. I think they're trying to make Pantoja into a bigger star in Brazil, and this whole card is designed to do that. They're trying to make a nice highlight fight for Pantoja, and I think that signals to me that Pantoja may actually get the finish. We'll see. You know, I don't know if Erceg will go down that easy. He's 28 years old. He is on a very good win streak. He's fresh. You know, it's going to take a lot to take him out unless you land that perfect shot, which, you know, he could land. You know, Pantoja's got the ability, but I don't think it's going to go down. I think Pantoja probably wins a decision. Maybe he lands the right shot on Erceg, but either way, I got Pantoja winning this fight. I'm not super interested in it, and you want to come and say, oh, this is a good fight card, AJ. Like, come on, man. Come on. And forget UFC 300, okay? Forget how good UFC 300 was. UFC 297, Sean Strickland, Dricus du Plessis in the main event. That's a more fun main event than this one. And the rest of the card was really good, too. UFC 298, Volkanovski versus Topuria, Robert Whittaker, Paulo Costa co-main event. That fight card was tremendous. UFC 299, Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Vera, Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint Denis, Michael Venom Page versus Kevin Holland. That was a fight card. This, you can't compare those to this. This is Alexander Pantoja, a guy who is not a needle mover, a guy who they're trying to showcase in Brazil to try and make some fans in Brazil, against Steve Erceg, a guy who is not known whatsoever. Nobody in MMA knows who this guy is. Maybe he can shock the world, become a name after this fight. He's got the opportunity to do so. And hey, if he did it, it'd be an amazing story. Going to beat Pantoja when everybody's counting him out, becomes a champion at 125 pounds, comes back to America, celebrates, and maybe he's the next big star of the UFC. I'd love to see it. I really would. Because I've seen Pantoja for many years. He's good. He's a moderate-level star in the UFC. But for a championship-level fighter to be a world champion for the UFC, he's not moving the needle. He's not selling pay-per-views. He's not a megastar. He's not an Islam Makhachev. He's not a John Jones. He's not even Leon Edwards. You know, when you compare him to the other champions in the UFC, he's a very low-level star. And, you know, if Erceg beat him, I don't think it would be the worst thing for business. I think if they move Pantoja along, I don't think it'd be the worst thing for business, but I think they're trying to do business in Brazil, And that's what this fight is mostly about.
I don't think no matter who wins, it changes anything for business. I think if you look at the whole division, ever since Demetrius is gone, it's been like, okay, Cejudo won and then he retired. So he kind of blew a shot of becoming a big star. And who was the champion after that? Was it Figueiredo right away and Moreno that exchanged? So, these guys had a nice little rivalry, but none of them really became a big star. Maybe Moreno because he's Mexican and he came a little bit with a fanfare. But the whole division as a whole, it seems it's not the deepest division. You look at the top 10 of that division, and it doesn't feel like the deepest star-studded division out there. It feels like it lacks a little star power.
Not a lot of guys that you really are paying to see fighting at 125 pounds right now. Not a lot of guys that you're going, ooh, I got to see that guy, I got to see that guy. The marquee fighters right now, the big names, they're in other divisions. It's not 125. There's big fights at 170. There's big fights at 185. There's big fights at 155, obviously. 155 is always the hottest division in MMA. Always. It's the McGregor division. It's the Islam division. It's the Gaethje division. It's the Holloway division. At 145, there's some good fights, too, with Volk and Topuria and Holloway. Like, 145 is a hot division. 135 is a hot division with Sean O'Malley. You've got Merab out there. You've got some guys, right? O'Malley and Merab. Whoa,
you have
that's
rivalries.
Yeah.
In most divisions, you have rivalries. This one doesn't have. With Figueiredo and Moreno, you had a nice little rivalry, but that's pretty much finished. And it feels the rest of the division doesn't have much of those rivalries going.
Figueiredo moved up to 135, and Moreno says he's retired. Doesn't help the division.
Yep.
That division is super weak, and no one cares. And that's why we have this main event. That's why we are where we are right now at 125 pounds. They have to do a flyweight title fight at some point. It would have been nice if it was the co-main event with the UFC giving us Alex Pereira in the main event at light heavyweight. Then this would be a pay-per-view that we would have to cover. We would have to. If Alex Poitin was in the main event against anybody, we'd have to cover it. It really didn't matter. You could have thrown a nobody opponent at him, and it's like, ooh, that's appointment viewing because it's going to be a show. Whatever he does is going to be nasty. You throw Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith is fighting Vitor Petrino. If you said Anthony Smith, you're getting a title shot, baby, against Pereira instead, he'll take it. Give me that main event. I'll take that. But they didn't do that. That's why we are where we are. I got Pantoja winning. Pantoja right now, minus 200. I think he could be a bigger favorite, but that seems about right.
I think he should be a bigger favorite. I look at the rest of the card, like Petrino's a huge favorite. Pereira's a huge favorite. Caio Barallo is a huge favorite, and I feel Pantoja should be a huge favorite, but he's a favorite, so good fight,
but
man.
it's not like it's not like he's unbeatable. And I think out of this main event, I think cardio is what's going to make the win here. So whoever has the better cardio is going to win this. I was just thinking that there's a lot of wear and tear on Pantoja. There's a lot of a lot of people are not looking at Steve Erceg as a real contender because they don't know much about him. But when you've seen this guy fight, and I've seen his highlights, yeah, he hasn't fought those big names, but he's coming in. He's under the radar, but he's there. And they need somebody who's going to bring a little bit of excitement in that division. And this is the guy, man. You need another Australian there. You got the Volk, and then you got the Urkel coming in soon, man. I think it's going to be cardio that wins, and I really believe that Steve has it to go the distance. He could go solid 15, man.
25.
25, it's true. Sorry, you're right. Solid 25.
It's a title fight. 5 rounds, 5 minutes.
Cardio is what's going to drive this, man.
Okay, so you're going with Steve Urkel to win.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going with the underdog on this.
and new in Brazil. AJ's prediction. That's a big one. That's a big one.
That's huge, man.
Johnny North
And you know
says
what?
hang on, AJ. Johnny North says Urkel did get the girl in the end. Stefan didn't. Okay. I don't remember the end of Family
Whoa.
Matters, although I did hear a story about Carl Winslow recently and P. Diddy that shocked me.
What?
Can't believe. Fred, did you hear that
What the
one?
hell?
No.
What did he do the world, man?
I mean, I heard a story on a podcast. It was on Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast, which I highly recommend. It's very funny. I like it. I like those guys. And they were
What's it called?
saying Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast. And they were
Let me write
saying
this
that
down.
there was some story out there that Diddy, there was some guy who said he saw Diddy with Carl Winslow, and Diddy was on top, if you know what I mean.
What?
With Carl Winslow, which was shocking to me. I'm like,
That's-
what? I don't believe that. I don't believe, but
Ah,
of all people, Carl Winslow.
Jesus.
Wait, Carl,
What's up
the
with
father?
Diddy, man? I'm telling you.
Yeah, the father in Family Matters.
For a second, I thought you were talking about Eddie. I'm like, okay, maybe I don't know, but no.
But then no,
yeah,
Carl.
okay, I saw that pass.
Carl.
Yeah, I saw that pass. Yeah,
You saw that, right? And then you
Kinda,
start to think,
yeah.
damn, man. Biggie Smalls. Did Puffy have a type?
I don't want to think.
Yeah, Johnny's got a
man.
point there.
Why are we going there, Dave? Man,
I don't know. We're talking about Family
This is
Matters.
not
and
what
I
our
had to talk
show's
about
about,
Carl
man.
Winslow.
that's not what our
The
show's
family
about.
mattered, all right.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, come on, man. This is a family show.
Yeah, he
All
was the guy. I just saw from Johnny. It's the guy that was in Die Hard too, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
He was the hero. He got heroed all right by P. Diddy. Man,
Yeah.
who hasn't Diddy done, man? Every time I hear someone, it's like, oh, Diddy did him. Oh, Diddy did that guy. Diddy did Bieber. Diddy did this. I'm like, what
All
the
right.
hell, man?
Diddy did.
I was surprised. Okay,
The
so
D, the I,
since-
the D,
since we're
the
talking
D,
about
the Y,
Diddy.
the D, the I, the D, that's Diddy. Hold up, that's Diddy. That was a song.
WWE for WrestleMania, they kept what was it? Was it Meek Mill that was there at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
And they
yeah.
didn't care about the Puffy stories. They just
I
with
mean,
it.
they were in Philadelphia, so they figured, oh, this is cool. I don't know.
why not?
Damn.
Diddy did Vince.
Shout out Leor. Shout out Angelo on the chat, members of the team. Thank you, guys. Leor says we were spoiled with the road to WrestleMania, but it's all been so lackluster since then. Johnny North says waiting for The Rock to make it cool again. I agree.
I feel there's a lack of big events. You know, they're not capitalizing on WrestleMania. WrestleMania was huge, and now like I'm all for like go give some events to France and all that. Like, no offense, man, I'm okay, but I mean, the real wrestling happens in North America just because of the time zones and all that. That's where the big matches happen. And there's no big events coming because now it's like Backlash and then they're going to Saudi Arabia, which, you know, it's kind of a big event, but it doesn't feel the same
No.
when they go overseas.
Nothing's going to be really big until Money in the Bank in July, which is in Toronto. And that's going to be a big event. And then they're going to go into SummerSlam in August, which is going to be another massive show. So it's kind of, you know, they put it in full gear for WrestleMania. They go all out, and then they kind of taper off. And that's how it is normally. May, June, slow months for WWE. July, August, things are going to really pick up, I think. Once Money in the Bank is always a big event. Money in the Bank's going to be huge. And SummerSlam, obviously. It's like the second biggest show of the year for them. So that.
And I think people have had enough already of Cody Rhodes as a champion.
Whoa, take it easy there, man. That's not cool.
I think some people have.
I like Cody.
think some people are still into him, though.
Yeah,
Some
I like
people.
Cody Rhodes, man.
See, there you
There's
go.
so much dissing of that guy, and he's so good.
I like him. I think he's a really great wrestler. I like the program that he's currently in with AJ Styles. I think the match that he does Saturday with AJ is going to be phenomenal. No pun intended, but I really think it's going to be really, really good because AJ and Cody Rhodes, first time ever for the WWE title in France, main event of Backlash. That's going to be a very good match. Like I'm looking forward to that because I know Cody can go, and everybody knows AJ Styles is one of the best ever. So in the ring, that's going to really deliver. So I'm happy with it. I'm excited. He's not Roman Reigns, but
since we're talking,
of the guys in WWE, Cody I think is one of the better guys.
Since we're talking wrestling, man, I've been watching the Dark Side of the Ring season 5 there, and the last 2 episodes were good because there were people that I liked, man. And the Sandman episode was kind of cool because he's just wild, and I remember the Sandman. Sandman was cool. But the Sensational Sherry episode, man, that one was sad, man. And I used to like Sherry, man. She was like the crazy manager, sensational queen Sherry. But then you get to know the person, and you're like, oh, okay, that's a dark side of the ring. That was a good one, but at the same time, it didn't portray her in the best of way, I think, unfortunately.
No. I mean, it's hard to see a parent leave their kid, right? Just completely seemingly abandon the kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No.
But good season of the Dark Side of the Ring. There are a couple of other ones there. The Chris Adams, I didn't really care for him, so I don't really care for his episode. Harley Race, I always thought like, they're glorifying some very bad behavior, and I'm not too much of a fan of that either. But it's been a good season, man. I've liked it overall. The Brutus Beefcake was a good one. The Terry Gordy, Buff Bagwell, Earthquake, those were good episodes also.
The Buff Bagwell one is my favorite. That was so crazy.
Buff.
He shot his father? How crazy is that? And then his father apologized and said he did the right thing? Like, what a crazy story that was. My God. Yeah, wrestling's crazy, man. The craziest stories happen in pro wrestling. MMA doesn't really have that. You know?
Because it's not a couple of years Dark Side of Conor McGregor, John Jones. There'll be stories out there. That guy there, Lee Murray, and whatever. They'll find some stories.
There's so many,
there are
man.
some stories, but like it's
John
different
Jones,
because
come on.
MMA doesn't have life on the road. You know, like road stories are really what, you know, rock and roll, entertainment, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it. It's the road, I think, that does it. Because MMA doesn't really have those kind of stories because they're not on the road. They're not a traveling circus like the WWE is.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stories in the UFC or MMA.
There's drug abuse.
Man.
There's injuries. There's there are dark stories in MMA for sure, but
and there's also
it's not like pro wrestling. And pro wrestling too. A lot of these stories are happening, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, where there was less oversight and no cell phone cameras and all that stuff. Whereas MMA kind of came of age in an era where people aren't acting out in the same ways, and there's more cameras and more attention, so it's hard to get away with this stuff. You could do a Dark Side of the Ring on John Jones, but a lot of that's already documented. It's not like we don't know. You could do one, though. You could do one on John Jones. You could probably wait a few years and do one on Connor, too. I mean, hopefully not, but...
Well, they've already kind of done with Netflix series and all that,
That was positive.
No, that's a friendly series. I want the real shit. Like those Netflix series is something approved by Connor. It's all like scripted. I don't believe. I want to see like a 2 hours episodes on Conor McGregor exposed.
Yeah,
the cocaine.
I think you can do that.
You know what?
Parties.
I think John Jones would be a better story, man. John Jones in Russia would make a story, man, like you would not believe.
Yeah, I mean, there are stories out there. There are definitely stories out there. You could probably do a Dark Side of MMA. I don't know if there's enough to do 5-6 seasons worth like they've done with wrestling, but maybe. There's some stories for sure.
Oh, yeah.
The Rock's about to do one of the stories, kind of the darker stories of MMA. He's about to play Mark Kerr. Right? In a movie. Like a biopic about Mark Kerr. So that'll be good. It's supposed to be pretty good. I think he's working with Benny Safdie on that, who's like done some excellent work. So I think that that'll be good.
And what's
okay.
amazing is that
Yeah.
he's going to be able to look physically like Mark Kerr without doing steroids.
He doesn't take steroids, Freddie. He's natural.
I mean, that's what he
Hawaiian
says.
natural. Well, yeah.
Brahma
It's
Bull.
the Hawaiian 5-0, man.
Hey, Fred, you know I went to the States on the weekend, right? I got The Rock's. You know, The Rock has a line of men's products, like all sorts of stuff, like body wash and deodorant. So I got some Papatui. It's called
What?
Papatui, the line. I got some Papatui deodorant so I could smell like the final boss. Pretty hype.
And
You
it's
should have
'cause-
got us
it's
some too,
'cause
man.
of all the people. It's because of all the people like you that The Rock is filthy rich.
That's right, because I love The Rock and I support him. AJ wants stuff. I got Fred some NASCARs. Fred, I got you
What?
those NASCARs. Yeah.
Good.
How
'Cause
would
you
take
can't-
some rock cologne then?
Yeah, well, you can't get those NASCARs, the little NASCAR toys. You can't get them in Canada. Whenever I go to the States, I try to find NASCARs for Fred. Take pictures. I'd be like, Fred, which NASCARs do you want? Picked a couple NASCARs.
Where'd you go to Plattsburgh?
Yeah.
You're
It
a
was
true
nice.
American, dude.
I love it. I love going to America as much as possible. I got all the beverages
So
I
do I,
needed.
man.
I got cherry Dr. Pepper. I got cherry 7-Up. I got Barks root beer in the can. You can't get none of that stuff in Canada.
Hey, do they still have IHOP over there?
Probably. I didn't go to an IHOP. I went to Chick-fil-A.
Cracker Barrel, man. Remember Cracker Barrel in the States? Amazing.
And even though Chick-fil-A, they've got weird politics, I don't discriminate. I like a good chicken sandwich, so I go there every time I'm in America. It's delicious. So good. I love it.
Except on
Popeyes.
Sunday.
Yeah, you can't go on Sunday, which is disappointing. But I went on a Saturday, so I was in luck. Had my Chick-fil-A with my lemonade. It was excellent. So good.
You can't go on a Sunday. Interesting.
No, it's closed on Sunday.
I thought Saturday was your special day.
Fred, you know I'm not religious, right? Like, you know I don't, you know? Fred's always making weird jokes. Fucking Fred.
Listen, man, I'm more Jewish than Dave. I ate matzah, man. Like this week. Ask him if he ate matzah. No, probably not.
No, I didn't observe the Passover rules either. I used to, but I didn't because I don't do that anymore because I'm sick of it. I used to just eat matzah
Listen,
for
man.
like a whole week. Well, it was like 8 days, you know? It was garbage, man.
8 days
I don't
of
really
matzah?
like matzah that much. You know, you can't eat leavened things for 8 days. Fred, you probably don't even know what that means. But what it means is no bread, like nothing bready. So no bread, no pizza, no cake, no cookies, no nothing. And I'm doing this as a kid. So what do you have instead? Matzah. What are you having for lunch? Oh, it's a peanut butter and jam on matzah sandwich. Sucks. Sucks. Okay?
Sounds
It's not
awful.
good. I'm not eating matzah for 8 days as an adult. I don't believe in anything, and I don't want to do it because it's no fun. It's not. I'm eating pizza. I'm eating sandwiches on Passover. I say happy Passover. I love the idea. I know the story of Passover. It's beautiful, but I didn't go to any Seder because they're boring. And I didn't eat any matzah because it doesn't taste very good. And I'm Jewish, but I'm Jewish.
Well, my matzo ball soup was good.
Well, that's good for you, AJ. I'm glad that you ate matzo ball soup. I don't like matzo ball soup.
I sent you the pic.
Yeah,
Did you
I
guys
know.
see the picture?
And I
Ellie?
was like, I know what that is. It's gross. I don't like it. Some people like it.
Oh, it
and
was so
good for
good.
them. Some people observe Passover still. Good for you. I'm happy that you're doing it and carrying on the tradition. It's not for me anymore. I don't want to do it. I used to do it when I was a kid, and it sucked. So I don't want to do it anymore. I don't have to. No. You know?
Well, happy Passover to you, dude.
Yeah, happy Passover. I mean, for sure. I like Passover. I like the concept. I'd go to a Seder if it was happening. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to go out of my way to have one or do any of that. It's a lot. It's a lot. You guys have no idea. It's a lot. Sometimes like being religious, it carries a lot of responsibilities. It's fucking annoying, man. You know what my religion is? Pro wrestling and MMA. It is. I'm not even joking.
Marijuana and jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, weed, jiu-jitsu, pro wrestling, MMA. You know what I mean? Come on. Let's get real.
And cherry Coke.
Yeah, a little Coca-Cola. Come on, guys. Let's get real.
Every once in a while, a Twinkie, man. Yeah, for sure.
I've never had a Twinkie in my life.
What? Are you joking?
Are back. You see, here in Quebec, we got the Vachon brand there for the cakes, and the croquettes are back. And croquettes is basically like a Twinkie. So if you want the Quebec version, like the shape
it's not
is
the
different,
same.
but no, the dough is pretty much the same, and the filling is the same. It's just the shape that's different. But a croquette, they're back. They just came back to the market, man. Try it. I love it.
I like a
Vachon
Rouleau
is good,
Swiss.
man. You got to eat
Rouleau
Vachon, Freddy,
Swiss
cold,
is
man.
good.
Rouleau Swiss is good,
Hey, Fred.
and I like the little cupcakes too, the little Debbie cupcakes or whatever, or the brownies they have, the little
Yeah.
brownies, the
cream
cosmic
pies.
brownies.
They're good.
No, the Debbie cream pies, man.
The what?
Little Debbie
That's a
cream.
movie.
Oh, yeah, I
you
saw that
Fred.
porn. I saw that porn.
No,
Listen,
the little Debbie cream pies are great.
If you say so. I don't know.
Google
part
it.
2.
Google it.
I'm not
It's
Googling
safe.
that. What are you trying to trick me for? Not Googling that. Fred.
Debbie
Little
does it.
Debbie's.
So does
Fred's
Pete.
trying to
so
turn
does
this show
P.
into
Diddy.
something filthy.
Little Debbie's oatmeal cream pies. I'm telling you, man. Google it. Those are the best.
Not doing it.
Old
I'm not
cream
getting
pies.
tricked
Telling
again.
you,
Nice.
man. Come
Um,
on, man. I wouldn't
Fred.
do that to you.
Fred, do you hear me? You got to have Vachon cold, man. You put a Vachon in the fridge. Tabarnouche, c'est bon. You got to have that cold.
Yeah, I agree.
Mamma mia.
See? I'm a real
okay.
Quebecois.
Let's go back to UFC 301 because I have some other fight news I want to talk about before we end this ridiculous program that we have. So, you guys think Jose Aldo can win here? He's coming back from retirement. He's taking on Jonathan Martinez. Aldo is 37 years old. He has not fought since 2022, where he lost to Merab Dvalishvili in a decision. I mean, when Aldo stopped fighting, solid. But Jonathan Martinez is a pretty good fighter. You know? It's not an easy fight. This is not an easy fight for Jose Aldo on a comeback. Jonathan Martinez has been active, and he's been winning. He's won 6 straight now in the UFC.
Yep. Look, I'm going to tell you
He's
something.
30 years old. He's on a win streak. I don't like this as a comeback fight for Aldo, but it is in Brazil, and you never know. I'd like to see Aldo win because I like Jose Aldo. I'm a fan. He's been fighting forever.
Listen, he's not the king of Rio for no reason. And it's not like he hasn't been active. He's been in boxing for the last year, and he was unbeaten. The guy has, been in the fight game. It's not like he's been taking, a siesta by the ocean. This guy is legendary, and he's coming in. And every time we look at Jose Aldo, man, he comes in, he's in top shape, and he delivers. Okay, against Merab, it was different, but he still performed really well. Going up against Martinez, I'm telling you, man, if there's one thing, you're right. He's on a 6-fight win streak. And you know what? He has great kicks. The one thing with Aldo is you can't get a better guy to, check those kicks. And that's the difference. When it comes down to, anything else, you cannot take this guy down. He's unbeatable in the takedown. He has the best takedown defense in the game. So what it's going to be, it's going to be a straight-up boxing match. And if it goes to that level, this is where Aldo is going to just pepper this guy. And let me tell you, Aldo's going there, king of Rio, and he's winning in Brazil.
Well, I hope you're right.
And you know what? It's going to be by decision. I think it's going to go to distance.
I don't think he will. I don't know. I got Martinez winning.
Hey, listen, it's not like he's that much younger. He's 30 years old, Aldo's only 37 years old, no matter how you slice it, man. The guy is 39 fights in his career, but he's only 37 years old. We always think of him as okay, it's not that it's all 37 in the MMA game. It might be. But
it is.
Let me tell you, this guy comes prepared. and there's nobody better in the game than this guy when it comes to the kicking game. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be hard to take him down. He's going to be forced to stand up, Martinez. And I'm telling you, Aldo's boxing game is, over the top. It's going to be a tough day for Martinez. I think this is where I think the Brazilian is going to win.
I'm gonna let the fan in me, and I'm gonna go with Jose Aldo. But I'm gonna say one thing is that a lot of people say oh, why is he coming back? Is it money and all that? And then I read and I remembered that Jose Aldo's married to a woman that's pretty rich, so I don't think he's coming back for the money. I think he's coming back for the hunger. I think he's hungry. He's a competitor. And I think he'll be top shape. So whatever that is at 37, I think we could expect the best Jose Aldo available. And I think he's going to have a good performance. I'm going to go with Jose Aldo, and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm a fan. I remember before he was champion in WEC, I called it. I was like, this guy's going to be a future champion. And then he dominated the 145 division for so long. And I'm happy to see him, man. I'm down for some Jose Aldo fights. You give me some more Jose Aldo fights. I still think he has some gas in him. And like I say, I think he's in there because he wants to be. So go Jose Aldo.
Exactly.
I want to go with Freddie, you guys. I really do. I really do. But Jonathan Martinez is finishing people with leg kicks. And I feel like Aldo, towards the end of his career, the legs weren't as durable as they were earlier, and something fell off. And he used to whip those leg kicks himself, and they kind of stopped at a certain point in his career. And I feel like going to boxing was maybe, the hands will work, but the legs are maybe not where they were. I just worry about the legs, especially at 37, having so many fights. I think Martinez might be able to catch him and slow him down and hurt him. I don't like Aldo coming back after several years off and deciding and seemingly being gone and nothing left to prove. I just don't know. Maybe he's got the hunger to compete in MMA and he wants to win in Rio or whatever, and I hope he does it. But Martinez is just very dangerous. He's just very dangerous, and he's game. And this is what he wants. This is a big fight for him. And his style, I think his style is going to be a little dangerous for Aldo. I think the leg kicks will slow him down, if not finish him altogether. Because this guy's got heavy leg kicks, and he's finishing people with leg kicks.
Yeah. But you got Aldo who has one of the best leg checks in the game. I mean, it's going to be a very tough fight. That's where I think the leg game is going to cease to exist, and it's going to be a straight up boxing match, and that's where Aldo's going to take it. But the only thing I can say is Aldo has more reasons to win. I mean, he needs to win in Rio. The last time he fought in Rio, he lost to Volkanovski. So he wants to avenge that loss. This guy doesn't want to lose in Brazil. And this is it. He's not a two-time loser in Brazil. I can assure you. He's coming with this win.
Okay. AJ is assuring us. AJ knows for sure. I'm not sure.
Listen, man, I always do well in Brazil. When it comes to the Brazil cards, it always pays off, man. And I was checking my stats. I'm like, Brazil has always been AJ's best wins.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I got my stats,
Mr.
man.
Brazil, Mr. AJ's best wins. Why don't you give me a parlay then, Jabroni? Why don't you put your money where your mouth is and see if you could win us some money this weekend?
Oh yeah, man. Here we go. You want me to go first? No problem.
Yeah,
I'm going to start off with.
Don't go on and on for every pick. Don't give me
Well, let me give you a little reason, man.
I'm going to go with Kyle Morat, but don't give me 10 minutes because I really, we got other things to talk about here.
Look,
keep it moving.
Right off the bat, I'm going with Kyle Barao. He has the most dangerous hands when he goes to the grappling game. Paul Craig has amazing jiu-jitsu. We've seen that. We've seen him close things that we couldn't believe, but there's one thing that's going to happen. I think Kyle, he wants to win this by submission. He wants to prove that he's a better fighter than Paul Craig. I'm just going to go with a straight win, but I would not be surprised if he wins by submission. Then I'm going to go with Michel Pereira. This guy is the favorite, but man, since he's been in middleweight, this is his natural size. The guy's performance has only got better, man. The guy's speed, his power, everything, man. His creativeness, everything. The guy has it all. And let me tell you, if this guy's going to win, I'm going to go with the straight win for Pereira, but I would not be surprised if it's an early knockout. Pereira is dangerous, but now he's in his natural weight, and he's proving that he is dangerous in that division. Then I'm going to go with Vitor Peterino. This guy here, man, this guy is unbelievable. Every time I see this guy, he's like, I'm like, I said it about Johnny Walker a long time ago, and I was close. If he didn't do that stupid super worm, I believe that this guy here will be a real threat to the championship. And I really believe that at one point we're going to be talking about this guy as a future champion. This guy is young. He's probably the most athletic fighter in that division. The guy's cardio, his power, the way he dominated Tyson Pedro with his wrestling. This guy has never been knocked down. Vitor Peterino is the name that we're going to be hearing at the same level as Belfort in the future. This guy is the future in that division. Then I'm going to be going with Jose Aldo, like I said. I don't have to repeat myself. And then I'm going to go with the Australian. I think the Australian is going to upset the night for the Brazilians and take it as an underdog. I'm telling you, Australia's coming out, man.
I'm with you with all the picks except the main event, man. I think you because the three first matchups are pretty much like a mismatch. So I expect Pereira to win. I expect Caio to win, and I expect Petrino to win. And Jose Aldo, I think, could cause a surprise, but I don't see Herseg doing that. I got Pantoja in that fight to win. So, hey, it's a nice little parlay. AJ, I think it's just going to get busted in the main event, unfortunately for you.
And there it is. Michel Pereira, minus 600. Vitor Petrino, minus 500. Steve Herseg, plus 165. Caio Borraio, minus 575. And Jose Aldo, plus 125. It's 20 to win $175.98 over at bet99.com.
Nice.
It's a big parlay, plus 880 for Team AJ. A 5-fight parlay here this weekend. Once again for Team AJ. Fred, you got something for us?
Yeah, I'll make it simple with Jose Aldo and Pantoja.
Hold on, I got to take a picture of this parlay to send to the group chat so AJ can be held accountable for his picks.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Well, I just want you to be held accountable, because you said you always win in Brazil. I want to make sure that when you're wrong, you could be proven wrong easily with a quick picture. So what was your parlay again? Aldo and Pantoja?
Yep.
Simple.
That's fun. All right.
But Freddie pretty much went with the whole card that I chose, except for Pantoja.
Yeah, I agree. I like it. I'm a little hyped for that Paul Craig and Caio Borraio, whatever. I can't pronounce his name, but anyways, I like that Caio guy. I think he has a future in the division, and I like Paul Craig. He's a very solid fighter, and he's been in a lot of wars before, so he's not a pushover.
Freedom.
So that should be a good fight. And I'm a huge Michael Pereira fan, man. His fights are always exciting, so I'm happy to see him. And I agree, Petrino's an excellent fighter. He's probably gonna beat Anthony Smith, who's a former title contender. So it's still a decent fight. Like I was saying early in the show, I'm almost more intrigued by some of the other fights than the main event. But the main event's decent also. Go Pantoja.
Okay. I mean,
What's
it's
the
not.
payout?
I'm gonna watch it because I like MMA. It's just it's not super exciting. What's the payout for Fred?
Yeah.
I already said it.
47, something like that. I think.
Yeah, it's 20 to win 47 plus 238.
That's a nice payout.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have another fight here. All right, I'm gonna give you my parlay. Here's my parlay. I'm going to keep it simple. 2-fight parlay. Similar to Fred's. A little bit different, though. I'm going with Carolina, who's on a win streak and is the underdog here, and I'm a little surprised. Carolina Kowalkiewicz, plus 300. She's looked very good in her past few fights. I think she gets the win here, and I like her at plus 300. I think there's tons of value there. And I'm going to go with Pantoja as well, plus 200. So 20 will get you 100. 20 gets you 120 payback. You win 100 and you get your 20 back. It's a plus 500 parlay. It's not bad. Carolina, Pantoja. Team Dave.
20 gets how much again?
20 gets you 120.
Wow, that's okay. That's a good one. Very good,
thanks.
actually.
I like that. I might bet that. I think I will bet that, actually. I'm definitely going to bet
too
that.
bad
And
both
I'm
of you
also
guys-
going to bet. Let me tell you guys, I know
You're
you
both
guys
gonna
are very
lose in the
high on
final.
Caio Borralho. Okay? I know you're high
Yeah.
on Borralho. You think Borralho's going to win. But I'm going to go with, and I have to do this because I feel like it's the move. I'm going to go with, where can I get this? Here we go. Ooh, baby. I'm going to throw 5
What?
on this bet,
Don't
which
steal
I
my
think is
thunder,
nice.
man.
Well, all right. Let's throw 20. You want to throw 20 on this? I'll give you
Let's
a
do
bet
it.
where 20 gets you 200. Okay? And 20 gets you 200. You ready? It's a plus 1,000 bet. You ready?
Let's hear it.
It's there it is. It's Paul
What
Craig
is it?
by submission. You know it can happen.
Nah, there's no damn way, man. No
It can
damn
happen.
way.
It's Paul Craig. What are you talking about?
Man, what are you talking about? Caio is going to submit this guy. This is what he wants to do, man.
We'll
Woo.
see.
He's
That's
one
why
of
I
the best
only wanted
grapplers
to
in
put
the
5,
division.
because 5 gets you $50. If you can put $5 and win 50, that's nice. That's a nice little money. I'll take the little money.
Yeah, it ain't happening. It's
I
not
know you
happening.
guys
I'm
don't
writing it
believe
down
in
here,
it, but
Hey,
Paul
Dave,
Craig.
here's my parlay. On the prelims, I pick every underdog to win.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
That's
AI,
right,
AJ.
AJ. He's right. Where did he come from? But listen, I'm telling you, man, that's a very bold bet. I mean, not to take away from Paul Craig, because we've seen him do things that, which have shocked us. And when it comes to the jiu-jitsu game, there's no doubt about it. But his wrestling is not great. The only way he's going to be able to take down Caio is by pulling guard. That's the only way. And there's no way in hell that's going to work against a guy like Caio. Caio's going to take him down at will and take the top game, and he's going to go for that submission. The wrestling is what's going to fail Paul Craig on this guy. That's my 2 cents. Take that to the bank.
Caio Borralho went all 3 rounds in his last fight with Abu Smagomedov, who Sean Strickland made look like a total jabroni. If it takes you 3 rounds to beat Abu Smagomedov, I'm not fully convinced. Show me more.
Listen, man.
I think Borralho
Those
is
guys
good.
all had one thing.
He's
Wrestling,
good,
man.
but I've seen holes in his game. He's not like who's he really beat? There's been holes in the game. He's okay. But I think Paul Craig could definitely win by submission, and if he does, it's going to be so sweet. I think Paul Craig by submission at plus 1,000 is always worth a couple bucks, man. Come on. The guy's got good jiu-jitsu.
you're right.
He can catch anybody. He's got the equivalent
Absolutely.
of a knockout punch in that triangle choke. You know what I mean? He can put you out at any time. He can catch you.
And everybody that he's caught, he's been able to pull that guard, and that's where he gets his game. But this is going to be a different one if he tries to go up against Caio and do that same type of technical attack. It's not going to work on him, because if Caio gets that top game and gets side control, it's going to be a bad night for Paul Craig. I don't think Paul Craig is stronger than Caio, and his jiu-jitsu is probably one of the most dangerous things in that division, in my opinion. I just think it's the wrestling is what makes the difference against a guy like Caio.
Okay. Well,
And
we'll
Paul
see what
Craig doesn't
happens.
have it.
We'll see what happens. UFC 301 coming up on Saturday night. I did want to talk about John Jones and some of the stuff that he has been saying today. He's been talking.
Johnny Jones.
I'm just gonna give you a few here from John Jones. He's been going off today. Several tweets. He started with one. It was a group photo of him and a bunch of, I guess, training partners, fighters, maybe a seminar. Look at that giant group of people, and there's Bones Jones, the champ.
What's he doing?
Right in the middle.
There he is.
He's
Look
in
at
a
that
group
handsome
of
guy.
he's in a group of men. And
He
here's
likes
another.
men.
Here's
He's
one
surrounded
from
by
Johnny
them.
Bones Jones. Crazy that we live in the world where influencers can persuade the minds of the boys on the internet. Literally, some random loser with a microphone in his basement. People can just say anything they want these days. I find it fascinating. And this, of course, is in response to some MMA guy on YouTube who made like a 25-minute video claiming that Jon Jones is a deeply closeted homosexual. This was a thing from, I think, MMA Guru or something. Like, ridiculous. Just stupid shit. And I can't imagine people were taking this seriously.
There, Dave.
But there are a lot of marks out there that are taking it seriously. A lot of dummies like AJ that take this stuff seriously because they believe in
pencil neck.
Any old
Easy, pencil
internet
neck.
video.
Easy there, Tiger. But I'm going to tell you something. The guy had some solid points, man, and you can't deny that either, Dave. Don't be so like one-sided. You got to hear the full story.
This guy says he's going to make a video now. You made his entire life. He's now happy you acknowledge him. Good job, John. Bro, what a powerful position to be in. Someone mentions your name and maybe make a few more $100 or even $1,000 for themselves that year. I'm a blessed dude. All good things. And look at this. Posting a picture of this nerd. Look at this guy. I wish he put a picture of AJ because it could just as well be AJ. There's Jon Jones saying, here's a picture of one of my new cyber bullies. He decided to write me today to tell me he believes I like men. What a world.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that if you do.
What a nerd. Nice haircut, douchebag.
He doesn't like men. He likes cocaine and hookers.
That's right. Jon Jones likes cocaine and lady hookers, not man hookers, okay? And here this guy says Pereira is the only real competition, and Jon Jones says that's a bad man. And now he says, who would you guys want to see me fight the most, Alex or Tom?
Alex.
Okay.
Alex.
So he's putting it out there, guys.
Yeah, but he's got to get in shape, Dave.
I mean,
okay.
Come on, man. Stipe's a grandfather at home right now, man.
True. Good point.
I don't know if he's really a grandfather, but he's old and inactive, man. I want to see him against Pereira, man. Jon Jones, I still believe right now Jon Jones is the best fighter pound for pound in the world. Even though he's off an injury, I still believe Jon Jones is the best fighter out there. And the hottest thing right now in MMA is Pereira, and they're close enough, man. He's the champion of the division where Jon Jones used to be the champion. He's a big guy. He could fight. He walks around at 230, I would say, around.
Mm-hmm.
This would be a great fight, man.
Well, it would be a blockbuster pay-per-view, that's for sure.
I don't disagree that Jon Jones against Alex Pereira or Jon Jones against Tom Aspinall even is a more interesting fight than the fight against Stipe Miocic. I just figured Jon
100%.
Jones wasn't interested in any fight other than Stipe, and maybe he is now, because the fact that he went out 2 hours ago and said, who do you guys want to see me fight more, Alex or Tom? He's obviously entertaining the possibility.
Yeah, well, Jon Jones acts as if, he doesn't care what people think and things like that, but he does care. If he didn't care, he wouldn't be online talking with all these people. So he's heard all the chat in recent weeks of people saying like, hey, Stipe's not really active and all that, and Tom Aspinall is the number one guy in the heavyweight division that you need to fight. And people have been telling him also Pereira, he's the hottest thing right now in MMA. So Jon Jones cares about MMA. He cares about the fans, even if he says he doesn't. He cares about the history, his place in history, and here's the chatter. So I think he's gonna change his mind and fight one of these two guys.
I think
look, Freddie, he's definitely active on social media. There's no doubt about it.
He beats either one.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure. Doesn't matter. Bring them both on. He'll beat them both. He'll beat them
probably
both.
Destroys Pereira because Pereira has no grappling. One takedown and it's over. One takedown and it's over.
I disagree with that.
Over. It's a wrap. I think on Aspinall too, one takedown and it's over. One takedown, and it's over. And he gets that takedown quick, and it's over. It's over. He finishes you. He stands up with a guillotine on you. He finishes you that way. He'll do whatever he wants. Jon Jones will do whatever he wants. He'll beat Pereira. He'll beat Aspinall. He'd beat Stipe. He'd beat any man walking the face of the earth. That's a proven fact. We've seen it time and time again.
And you know what, man? That Stipe fight was, kind of sexy. A little bit of money to be made. Some decent money to be made. But I'll tell you what, man. Pereira's a big star right now, man. I'm sure there's just as much money to fight Pereira out there than to fight Stipe. And Aspinall, man, he's starting to be a big star, man. Being from England, he brings a country behind him and all that. So those fights are going to make money to Jon Jones. I expect Jon Jones to have more than one fight. I know people sometimes himself says he's about to retire, but there's still money to be made for Jon Jones in this sport. And I think Jon Jones, he likes money. He likes history. We're going to see a couple more fights from him.
I think, I hope.
Well, we'll
hope
see
you're
about
right.
that. We're not sure.
I hope you're right, but let me put my Dana White hat on here. Let me take my hair off and become Dana White for a second. If I'm Dana White, I don't give Jon Jones Pereira or Aspinall unless I am 100% certain he's sticking around past the fight. He's got to stick around for another fight. Because if he retires, he kills a star and walks away. And the UFC doesn't like that.
Say pro wrestling, man.
What? Oh, sorry.
You don't have to go out on your back, man.
No? How did they treat George St. Pierre? Did they give him the Khabib fight? Did they give him the Khabib fight?
But I said they were wrong, man. There shouldn't be any. Like back in the day, I would say the same thing I'm going to say now. There's nothing wrong with a guy winning a title or whatever and just vacating it, man. If the guy doesn't want to fight, he doesn't want to fight. But as a promoter, you should still want to put the biggest fight possible out there. And the biggest fight possible out there for Jon Jones is Pereira and Aspinall. So that's what Dana should be thinking of. And if Jon Jones then retires, whatever, just vacate the title. The division will survive. The sport will survive.
They don't want it.
It's not as if
they don't want it, Fred. You know they don't want
it. I know they don't want it, but it's not as if Jon Jones owes anything to the next batch of fighters that he owes to go away by. It's not like wrestling, man. I don't agree.
But that's why I don't agree with how they do business, but I'm telling you how they do business, and you know how it works. They would prefer Jon Jones fight Stipe Miocic, and both of them hold hands going off into the sunset and never coming back if Jon Jones really is retiring. If Jon Jones has one fight left, they would much rather give him Stipe because Stipe has no more earning potential going forward. Pereira and Aspinall are two stars, just becoming stars, just becoming bankable pay-per-view draws for the UFC. And we know those are hard to come by. So I don't think the UFC gives Jones the fight against Pereira or Aspinall unless they know that he's sticking around.
Look, man, you could say the same thing about Francis Ngannou.
Johnny North making a good point. You could say the same thing about Francis. Johnny North making a good point saying Sting won and vacated his title. So, see, in pro wrestling, it does happen sometimes, Fred. You can do it in pro wrestling. This is MMA. It's different.
No, that's not what I mean by pro wrestling. My analogy to pro wrestling is that in pro wrestling, they say, hey, you got to leave by getting defeated. Most guys look at John Cena. He's been coming back often, but he's losing every time. So, he's helping the next guy, which I agree for pro wrestling. Once you go into retirement, well, you should lose to the next guy that goes up there. But MMA, that's not the same thing. MMA, you should win, man. You fight to win, man. There's no, it's not a team. Pro wrestling is a little bit of a team enterprise or a team sport. Call it whatever you want, because you need your partners, and whereas MMA, it's a one-man sport, man. You want to defeat whatever, man.
But how the UFC operates. They want you to go out. They want you to pass the torch. They want you to go out losing. They want you to keep fighting until you lose.
Listen, man.
Mayweather
the thing
with boxing
pro
vacated a bunch of.
Yeah, but boxing's a different business.
But it's the same thing. But it's the same thing in pro wrestling. I mean, there's a storyline there, and you always got to carry that storyline. But I agree with Fred on the fact that if someone is a champion, we saw Francis Ngannou leave, and it didn't damage that division. You know what I'm saying? It's very deep still.
When George
and
St.
Francis
Pierre
Ngannou can't
left,
come back.
yeah, when George St. Pierre left welterweight, he didn't damage it either.
No, and when Khabib left, it didn't damage. So that's the thing with MMA. There's always a new star. We're talking about guys like Petorina that's coming. You know, there's so many guys that are there that are going to be big names down the road. And I agree that if John Jones wants to make money, it's not going to be with Stipe anymore. Most people that are coming into MMA in the last 5 years don't even know who Stipe is. Let's be honest. And that's the thing. They do know John Jones. Everybody knows Alex Pereira now. Tom Aspinall is a huge name, man, in Europe. Huge. And they know him in the USA, man. And that's what counts, because that's what sells. The bottom line is, if John Jones wants to come in and fight and he beats Pereira or he beats Tom Aspinall and walks away, it won't damage that, because there's always that backup, that what if of either Tom Aspinall or Pereira right there.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it interesting. You know, and if John Jones wants to defend it, it only makes better money and a better storyline in some sense. Dana White's not stupid. He's going to try to get this fight before he makes the same mistake like they did with GSP. The same mistake they did. Well, they couldn't really do much with Khabib because that was pretty solid, but you don't want to see that, man. You want to see these guys. I'm going to say Ferguson was the same thing. We never got an opportunity to see him fight when he was at his best. You know what I'm saying? With Khabib. So you can't lose it. You only have a short period of time to make that money. And that's what it is. It's a business. Everything's a business. But it's also, man, it's a short-lived sport. I'm surprised that John Jones is still there fighting, in my opinion. You know? But he will probably get that one more fight. He will. And if he walks away, win or lose, he's still going to be considered one of the best MMA fighters in the history of the game.
Well, obviously win. It's going to be a win. He's going to win. He is the greatest of all time, and I'd love to see him fight Pereira. I think that's the fight to make. I just don't know if the UFC is going to make it. I hope they do. That's the big fight.
I think they will.
If Jones is willing, I'm sure Pereira is willing. It would be fantastic. That would be the biggest fight you could do right now. So hopefully they do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me give you an update here on the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight. They are going to be fighting July 20th, I believe, on Netflix. And the rules have been updated, which is very big. Very big. Okay?
Oh,
it's no longer an exhibition. It is now a pro fight. It's a real fight. The gloves, no longer 16-ounce, 14-ounce gloves. Still big, but a little smaller. The fight will be at heavyweight. Knockouts will be allowed. And the most important thing is, this is not an exhibition. It's a real fight, so there will be a winner. They will go to a judge's decision if no one is knocked unconscious in this fight. And this will be an 8-round fight, 2-minute rounds at heavyweight. So it is a real fight. When it was announced, it was not a real fight. But now the 27-year-old Jake Paul will fight 58-year-old Mike Tyson in 8 2-minute rounds in an official pro boxing match on Netflix on July 20th. We are in a new world in 2024. Let me tell you guys. This is, it's just, there's so many things in this fight. It's on Netflix. It's Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul in a real fight. It's just bananas.
They got to change the 2 minutes. They want to make it more real. They got to change that 2 minutes. And that's the thing. But even then, in 2 minutes at 8 rounds, if Mike Tyson is able to do his peekaboo stuff and get in with that hook or that uppercut, I'm telling you right now, Jake Paul has never felt power. Even at 57 years old, man, Mike Tyson. I always say this. You have an entertainer that became a boxer and a boxer who's an entertainer. But the thing is that Tyson is a boxer. The thing is that in his blood, he doesn't just want to win. If it's a real fight and not an exhibition like he did with Roy Jones, and he's able to throw that uppercut, which he wasn't allowed with the Roy Jones fight, this is a different game. Let me tell you, you don't want to get hit by Mike. There's a reason why they called him Iron Mike. And I like Jake Paul. I think the guy's done a lot for the sport. for sports in general and for boxing, I like Jake Paul. Win or lose, the guy has balls. But I'm telling you, the minute that you get hit by a guy like Mike Tyson, you could talk to anybody that's fought him, including Roy Jones that was exhibition. They're going to tell you one thing. You don't want to get hit by that guy at full power. He's going to hurt you or maybe even kill you. At a heavyweight? Are you kidding, man? That means that Jake Paul has to put on some heavy, well, he's going to probably go around 230 or whatever, but he's not going to be as fast. He's hoping that right is going to knock out Tyson. Man, you're talking about, like I saw Johnny put, like he hasn't fought in 6,000 days. But the guy, man, from the day he was born to the day he's 57, he's still a fighter. Good luck to Jake, man. But I tell you one thing, the guy has balls.
Yeah, Jake's going to win. I can't wait. I love that you guys are picking Mike Tyson, 30 years older than his opponent. I can't wait. We're going to do a watch-along for it. July 20th is going to be so maybe not. I might be out of town, actually, on July 20th. Win,
and
I'm going to be out of town.
Later, 3 days later, both guys will fail a drug test, and it will be a no contest.
Wow, just like the Ryan Garcia fight.
Yeah, Ryan Garcia, man. So he's like in trouble right now with steroids.
I think I'm going to be in the States. I think I'm going to be in Maine possibly on the 20th of July.
Why?
Vacation, baby. Summer vacation.
So you'll do it from the States to watch along.
We'll see.
Listen, man, Tyson's going to mess that kid up big time. Remember my words, man.
Okay.
Tyson at 80 years old, I wouldn't want to fight him. I'm just telling you that. Tyson at 80
you said
is
enough,
dangerous.
Man.
Yeah, we get you, AJ.
I know,
we understand you're picking Mike Tyson.
No, man, I don't think you understand, Dave. I don't think
thanks,
you understand.
everybody, for watching. AJ, you suck. Everybody else, you're awesome. Thank you for supporting the Ringside Report Network. Shout out to everybody watching tonight. DJ Bourne, Johnny North, Mika, Leor out in
Tyson, number 1.
New Brunswick. Angelo Contagonis out in Laval. And everybody else watching and supporting the Ringside Report Network over at join.ringsidereport.net and membership.ringsidereport.net. Go to ringsidereport.net, the official website of the Ringside Report Network. Hey, you can buy this shirt over at merch.ringsidereport.net. This is a Johnny North Genesis shirt that you can buy over at merch.ringsidereport.net. AJ, you have one of these, right?
Yeah, it's really nice. Good quality, man. It's super nice. And Johnny's fighting on Sunday, so make sure that you mention that because it's important. I'm going to try to be there at the fight as well. And,
yes, Johnny has a big match this coming Sunday that we'll talk about tomorrow on Wrestling Uncensored. Tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Wrestling Uncensored with myself and Johnny North talking all things pro wrestling and previewing WWE's Backlash, Le Backlash de Lyon, France, right here on the Ringside Report Network. Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word. Please share this episode on whichever social media platform you use. Add a comment below and consider reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next